Let's take a look at the ongoing energy crisis, and we zoom in on the agricultural sector, one of the sectors driving South Africa's economic growth. We're now joined by Dr. Jonny van der Merwe, Managing Director at Agricultural Market Trends Analysis. Thank you very much for your patience with us and for joining us this afternoon. With the ongoing rolling power cuts, which seem to be escalating, what threat does this pose to South Africa's food security?
Yes, I think it's a major threat, especially within South Africa and the challenges that we have and the interview that you just had regarding infrastructure, aging infrastructure, that's already a big issue. And then on top of that, the electricity problem. And what we've seen the past 2 to 3 decades is that agriculture became a lot more intensive. And what that basically resulted in is that it is much more reliant on electricity. For instance, the poultry, the broilers, pork production, and stuff like sheep production. You would think it's an extensive practice, but it became much more intensive just due to the fact that margins became smaller. You had to move into more intensive production practices, and then of course the agro-processing sector. Not even to mention the agro-processing sector. For instance. Baby snacks or the corn snack or the maize snack, that's a big basically a drawer of demand for agricultural products. And if they can't process, if they don't have electricity, they can't process their products, it means less demand for agricultural food, of course, and it means higher prices, of course, that's going to go to the end consumer. And we all know that will really affect food security and the affordability, the availability of food to a lot of households out there. And it will especially affect your lower LSM groups that's already really severely impacted by higher food prices over the past 3 years. So it will definitely increase hunger. It will definitely lead to job losses, so it will have a severe impact on ultimately economic growth and the future of this industry and South Africa as a whole.
Yeah, to your point of job losses, the Sowetan newspaper has a beautiful but scary front page that paints a picture and depicts exactly the impact of load shedding, especially on small businesses, some of whom, or mainly in the entire section of that paper, or the front page, have closed because of load shedding. And so when you speak of job losses, right, are we able to count the cost for now, at least, in terms of the loss in employment for people and some of the businesses that have had to close down in the agricultural sector?
Yes, I think it will be really difficult to really successfully or accurately determine the impact of job losses, specifically due to the electricity or to the breakdowns, because we had a really severe impact due to COVID and the lockdowns and everything. So that also negatively affected everything. So I think it will be really difficult. But stuff like economies of scale, and that's where we get slightly lower food prices, because larger companies can produce more bulk food at a lower cost per unit. And if they can't do that anymore due to electricity cuts and so forth, we will definitely see prices going up, and that will filter through to all the smaller businesses, as you mentioned. And it will definitely firstly lead to, let's say, the cleaner or basically the assistants in these companies to be laid off, or for instance just a full week's pay will be reduced to, let's say, 4 or 3 weeks if they can't afford them anymore. So it will definitely lead to more job losses, but I think to accurately determine this at this moment will be really difficult.
Fair enough. The Agricultural Minister, Ms. Toko Didiza, has made it known that they will establish a task team comprising government representatives, industry participants and energy specialists to monitor the impact and the ability to provide safe, nutritious food to South Africa. Is this something that the sector welcomes?
Yes, definitely. But I'd really recommend or hopefully promote to the minister that he can really engage with the agricultural sector. He can really use the land or the resources available for solar energy, for wind energy, for hydro energy, so that they can really quickly result in, basically the agricultural sector to be supplied efficiently with enough electricity. So there's a lot of resources or low-hanging fruit that they can use, and I think they just need to engage with agriculture and structured agriculture like Agri-SA and so forth, to make sure that they collaborate in making sure that they can use the resources that's available and basically avoid any losses over the short term. And I think that's the big concern. Pivots, especially with this heat wave that we're currently having, we need to keep water on let's say the maize at the moment. It will quickly dry if you don't have water for 1 or 2 days. It can really impact a staple food at this point in time. So it's really important over the short term to engage in where the low-hanging fruits are, and making sure that we keep the constant supply going forward, because I think it will lead to really a lot of uncertainty, and hungry people will lead to more riots, and I think it will create a lot of uncertainty in our local economy, and basically it will lead to ungovernable type of state if they can't ensure food on the tables for everyone.
Dr. Jonny van Merwe, Managing Director, the Agricultural Market Trends, thank you very much for availing yourself this afternoon.